My next guest takes on Montel Jackson coming up here at UFC 236 on April 13th. It is Andre Soukhamthath back here on the program. Andre, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling good.
You got to talk about you being on this card. Stacked event. Your first thoughts when you found out you were on this mega card, which has got 2 title fights.
I was just happy to get a fight. I did have a fight offer, but I couldn't take it at the time because I had some injuries that I had to recover from. So, when you say no to a fight, you don't know when your next fight is gonna come. And they gave me April 13th. I was actually pushing for the Florida card, the Fort Lauderdale card, and they gave me April 13th. We still didn't know where it was gonna be at. We just knew the date and the opponent, but they didn't come out with Atlanta until a couple weeks after I found out about my fight. So once I found out it was in Atlanta, I got really excited. I went for a run. I put on a bunch of TI on.
Now, what TI track was it? I mean, I got to know these things.
It was all of them.
Okay, good
I had to
stuff.
put
Good
Dirty
stuff.
South mix with TI, 2 Chains, all those guys. So
Okay, that's excellent. You're coming off a win, man. A great performance back in October. Jonathan Martinez. I know that was a short notice fight. You're supposed to fight Gavin Tucker on that card. I know you would have liked the finish, but you must have been pretty happy. There was a clear win for you, back in UFC Fight Night 138.
yeah, it was definitely a good win for me. I even made some mistakes that fight too. So you only just move on and learn from your mistakes. Even though I won, I still made mistakes that I can learn from, and I think that's really valuable. Of course, I wanted to finish. It's not like I didn't try to finish him. He was just a tough kid, and I couldn't put him out.
And I mean, the main thing is you got the victory. I know the fight before that against O'Malley, that was sort of a tough one. Was there sort of a weight lifted off your shoulders, just getting back in the win column, kind of shutting everyone up, saying, I'm still here in the bantamweight division, wrecking havoc.
Absolutely, it was good shutting a lot of people up, but at the end of the day, I realized that I'm always going to be remembered for that O'Malley fight and, for taking the guy with one leg down. I'm always going to be remembered for that. Always going to be remembered as a soccer mom and lowest fight IQ. So it's all good. I realized that I needed that win just to secure my job in the UFC because everybody knows that this career, especially being in the UFC, you don't have job security. So as long as I keep on winning and racking up those wins, I'm good for myself, for my family, and that's all really that matters to me.
I know you've been a little less active on social media over the last year. Is that because of what happened with the O'Malley fight, or is that just in general you're like, you know what, I'm wasting time on this thing?
It's not that I'm wasting time. I like giving my fans an update on, my training and stuff, but, I don't really put my family business out there, you know what I'm saying? Because then it gets personal, because then somebody can attack it. And that's what happened to me in the O'Malley fight. And what am I going to do? It's my fault for putting it out there. And I just don't want people attacking my family like that. So I kind of just keep that on the low. I'll post some pictures here and there about how my family's doing, but that's really it. I don't really go into deep detail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's all jealousy, man, because you got you got a nice set of kids, you got a beautiful wife. I think there's a lot of jealousy there, man. I think a lot of people
Thanks,
would love to
man.
be in your shoes. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
good to
blessed,
see.
that's for sure.
Now you mentioned you listened to Ti when you found out about this fight. I would have been listening to some Montel Jordan because you're fighting Montel Jackson. They got kind of similar names. Get on some this is how we do it.
Is Montel Jordan from Atlanta too?
No, he's not. But I just their names are so similar, and I think it's funny. Like if I'm Montel Jackson, I'd run with that whole gimmick. Just come out to
That's true.
Montel Jordan. Why not?
Um, you know, right? I've always been a fan of hip hop, since I was young. So, I know about all those hip hop artists. So when you hear about Atlanta, that's kind of like a hip hop mecca. A lot of greats came from there, like 2 Chains and T.I. and even the old school guys like Lil Scrap. Like the era that I grew up in middle school and high school, there was a lot of that's when like that down south Atlanta music came up, and that just kind of pumped me up, and that's kind of the music is anyways is like a I don't want to say it's fight music, but it's like fight music, gets you all riled up. So I just blasted that ATL music, and I went for a nice run, and I was just really excited to get touchdown in Atlanta.
Yeah, this was back when Little John was on like every single track back in the day.
Exactly.
You remember that? I mean,
Exactly.
it's like, wait, he's there again. That's crazy. But let's talk about this matchup. Montel Jackson. I mean, really impressive win in his last fight over Kelleher. I know he came off the debut loss, but that was short notice against Simone. How do you look at this fight as far as the stylistic, matchup?
I think, anybody that's like 5'10", 5'11", like him and long, it's gonna be a tough matchup for a shorter guy like me, So me and my camp we're working on a game plan, and we're working hard to secure the win. Um, because at the end of the day, whether big, small, whatever, I'm down to fight, and no matter who it is, this situation is not any different. I'm down to fight whoever it is. It's a tough opponent, tricky opponent, but let's bang, baby, you
Yeah.
know.
No, it's definitely a good fight stylistically. Now, for training camp, I saw that you trained a bit. Are you in Rhode Island right now? Or are you back in Florida?
I'm in Rhode Island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know you like to split things up. How long have you been there? How do you plan on structuring this camp, or how have you structured this camp so far?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm finishing off the last 5, 6 weeks in Rhode Island, with my, Rhode Island crew, um, and just cleaning things up, game planning, getting in shape, and getting focused. That's the most important thing.
Who do you get to train with in Rhode Island, and who will you get to train with when you're back in Florida? Like as far as training partners.
For sure, training partners, I'm doing a lot of training with Nate Andrews.
Nice, Nate the Snake. Who
Yep,
I hear. I don't know if it's announced yet, but I know there's some big news for him as far as
it's
where
a
he's going to
big
be
news
fighting
for
next.
him for sure. I don't want to be the one
Yeah,
to.
no, no, no. I know, yeah, I know. I
But
think we've
if
heard the
you
same
know
things.
about it, it's probably
Yeah.
true, and I'm really happy for him. Dennis Paiva, he's also a talented southpaw. I got some upcomers, um, that I'm training with also, and that's really it for this camp. Randy Costa. So a lot of good, talented, hungry guys, and a lot of veterans that I'm working with. I'm just trying to get good southpaws that will give me work and sparring.
Okay. And weight cut, I imagine, is going well. It usually is for you.
Yeah, it's going great. Always good. I take that very seriously.
And I guess because I imagine when you're in Rhode Island, you're not with your family. So is it kind of more like a Rocky camp where like you just train and that's pretty much it? Like you don't have those other responsibilities, or does your family come out with you?
My family is down in Florida. So yeah, it's just like I come out here, and I train. I try to make it like Rocky, and I train old school. You know, I do stay with my dad, my brothers and sisters and stuff, and I have family and friends up here. So sometimes I do have to fix some things when I come home. But overall, that first week is always rough being here. But once I got the swing of things and once I settled in, it gets a little easier as camp goes on. Just to be honest.
How do you see this fight playing out coming up here on April 13th?
You know what, James? I really don't know.
Well, we know it's going to be
Um,
entertaining. I mean, I don't think
I think
you'd
it's
be
gonna
hard
be
pressed to
a.
find a boring Andre Soukhamthath fight.
I think it's gonna be a good fight, of course. And I'm gonna really push the pace. And this kid's never been hit before, so let's see how he takes it. You know, because I know I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna crack him at least once, and no one's really cracked him before. And I'm gonna crack him once, and he's gonna. We'll see how he reacts, and how he reacts will determine the fight.
We talked about you being a family man off the top. Are your kids into pro wrestling at all? It seems like a lot of parents are these days. And my guy, he's not old enough yet, but I'm sure at some point that will come on his radar. Is it the same with your kids?
My kids, they're still into the kid stuff, like PJ Mask and Transformers and stuff like that. Not really pro wrestling yet. They're into more UFC, if anything. Because I kind of stopped watching pro wrestling. Nothing against it. I used to love it, but if I'm watching TV, all I'm watching is like really just fights, and my kids see that, and they like watching the fights too. But they kind of do their own thing. They watch their little kid shows, and that's kind of what they like.
Okay. Where do you feel like a win over Montel would put you in the division right now? Because that would be two straight, and certainly would propel you up the ranks. I'm sure.
That would be great, to propel me up the ranks or anything. But honestly, I really don't care. I'm in. I'm in my second contract. I got a couple fights left, so I just want to fight it out, whoever they give me, and rack up my wins so that my so I'll be more valuable when they're ready to sign the next contract, so that my stock goes up, and that's all I really care about.
And in the meantime, we're looking forward to it. This is a stack card. It's UFC 236 coming up here April 13th. Andre, always good catching up with you, man. Glad to see you're keeping warm up there in Rhode Island. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, man, Andre Souk MMA. Appreciate you guys following me. Thank you, Chef Fit Meal Plans. You know what I'm saying? They keep me healthy all year round. My coaches, my family, my teammates. And I got a lot of people going out to Atlanta too. So big shout out to everybody going out to Atlanta. It's gonna be crazy.